We assumed Interstellar Object 3I Atlas was just a rock. We were wrong. The latest data from Observatory MPCO51 has just shattered that assumption. This isn't a blurry smudge anymore. We are seeing structure. We are seeing symmetry. And most terrifying of all, we are seeing a distinct bidirectional jet firing into the dark. Nature is messy, but these new images show a clean, calculated release of energy that looks less like melting ice and more like an engine nozzle. Something inside this object just woke up, and it is pushing back against the void. We aren't watching a comet die, we're watching a maneuver begin. We are staring at something that defies the standard definition of a comet. For weeks, the astronomical community has monitored Interstellar Object 3I Atlas with a blend of scientific rigor and quiet unease. We operated under the safe assumption that we were tracking a rock, perhaps an unusual one, but ultimately just a piece of debris obeying the laws of thermodynamics. We expected it to melt, crack, and vent gas in the messy, chaotic way that natural objects do when they approach a star. But the data stream that arrived from the observatory today has effectively dismantled that narrative. A new sequence of frames from MPCO51 reveals not a random cloud of ice, but structure, symmetry, and a distinct directional feature that looks suspiciously like an engine firing in the dark. It begins with the raw capture. Before any filters or enhancements are applied, the first frame from tonight's session presents what appears to be a standard celestial body. You see a glow, a concentrated center, and a soft fade into the black vacuum. It looks innocent, yet, even in this unprocessed state, a sharp eye catches a discrepancy. There is a faint extension pushing off to the right, lining up almost perfectly with the solar direction marker. Usually, this suggests a tail formed by solar wind. But this is different. It is too rigid, too straight. It is a subtle ghost in the machine, a whisper of activity suggesting that the object is not merely drifting, but has an internal complexity hidden beneath the glare. To understand the reality of this object, we must strip away the noise. We move to the intensity-mapped version of the session. By applying a falsicolor scale, we separate the layers of light. A tight red center reveals the highest concentration of brightness, while surrounding green and blue layers show the spread. What is immediately terrifying is the compactness of the core. It remains a clean, circular shape. A natural comet, subjected to the intense heat of the sun and the gravitational tides of Jupiter, usually stretches and distorts. It becomes an elongated, messy blob. Atlas does none of that. It holds its shape with mechanical rigidity. On the right side, the glow tapers off along that same specific direction seen in the raw frame. This confirms a preferred orientation. Something inside is pushing material unevenly, not in a random burst, but along a specific, calculated axis. Switching to a neutral grayscale view confirms the anomaly. The core is compact, sharply defined, and darker than the surrounding glow, exactly what one expects from a solid central source. But the outer region is eerily uniform. There is no turbulence, no fragmentation, yet that faint extension toward the right persists. It is consistent across every single frame captured. In science, consistency is the difference between a glitch and a discovery. A feature that appears in every frame, through every filter, is a physical reality existing millions of miles away. Then comes the revelation. To expose the hidden mechanics, we apply a rotational gradient filter. This processing technique strips away the ambient glow of the coma to reveal only the sharp directional structures within. This is where the dirty snowball theory falls apart. When the mask is removed, a clear, bright plume jumps out, pushing outward with purpose. But it is not alone. Extending in the exact opposite direction is a sharper, thinner feature, a counterjet. This changes everything. A jet-like outflow paired with a counterjet implies balance. It implies a mechanism. The central region splits into two opposing directions, meaning material is not being released evenly like steam. Something is turning. Something is rotating and pushing the flow along a specific axis. Lining up the full sequence from tonight, the pattern is undeniable. The raw frame shows the potential. The intensity map tightens the focus. The grayscale confirms the symmetry, and the rotational gradient reveals the truth. This is not a processing artifact. It is the same structure emerging consistently through every method used to interrogate the data. Each step removes a layer of uncertainty until the underlying shape stands out. Today, that shape has direction. It has a defined axis where fresh material is being ejected. This combined panel is the strongest confirmation yet that something fundamental changed inside 3i Atlas over the last 24 hours. But this isn't a sudden accident. Pulling back to view a full 2-week evolution from November 15th through December 3rd, we see this has been building for a long time. In early images, the glow was tiny and round. It looked dormant. By late November, the coma began to expand and the light spread unevenly. Moving into December, the shape started pushing outward along the same consistent direction we see today. Nothing here is explosive or sudden. It is a slow, controlled build-up. The groundwork for this change has been visible for weeks, appearing as a directional drift long before today's jet-like feature materialized. Today is simply the moment the subtle NEOICE was a standard, predictable Oort cloud object. Atlas sits in a category by itself. Its activity values soar far above both, showing a much steeper decline as it moves away. This means the dust output peaks hard and fades quickly. This is exactly what we are seeing: sharp, directional features instead of a wide, slow-blowing cloud. This hyperactivity explains why the new jet-like structure is so clear today. The object isn't just active, it is hyperactive. It is pumping out material with a precision that defies standard models. You cannot look at that data and conclude this is just another rock. The new frames show structure. They show a real, directional feature cutting through the coma. Whether due to rapid rotation, asymmetric outflow, or something entirely unknown, 3i Atlas is evolving. It is changing its appearance and behavior in real time. The presence of a counterjet is particularly vexing for the natural camp. In nature, jets usually erupt from the side facing the sun. To have a counterjet implies internal structural complexity, vents on opposite sides firing in synchronization, or a rotational speed flings material out in a perfect bidirectional stream. We are witnessing a phenomenon on the razor's edge of understanding. Every day the data gets stranger. Every day the features get sharper. And every day the normal explanations become harder to defend. We are watching a slow, controlled buildup of energy release that looks suspiciously like a maneuver. The object is oriented, it is stabilized, and now it is venting along a specific axis. If a spacecraft performed a station-keeping burn, it would look exactly like this on our sensors. We aren't saying it is aliens, but if it were, the data wouldn't look much different. The story of 3i Atlas is far from over. With this new jet feature, the prologue is finished. We are tracking a hyperactive, oriented, structured object moving through our solar system with the precision that makes us question our reality. As we wait for the next batch of data, the question hangs in the air. Does this look like normal behavior for an interstellar visitor, or do you think something purposeful is going on in the dark? The universe is full of mysteries, but usually they aren't disorganized. Stay curious, keep watching the skies, and be ready. Whatever 3i Atlas is, it just woke up.